good evening and welcome. It's Monday night, it's Wedding Cues Live, it's 8 o'clock. Thanks very much for watching. If you're not watching, what are you doing, seriously? My name's Gavin Jones.
My name's Andy Murphy. Welcome along to Great John Street Hotel here in central Manchester for our wedding photography and cinematography special.
Amazing.
Said it. How are you, Gavin?
I'm alright, how are you?
Busy weekend?
I've got to mention the shirt. I had nothing else to say.
Thanks for everything.
I'm sorry.
And he's actually zoomed in on it. Wow, thank you.
For those who aren't watching in 3D, Andy's got a shirt with hockey players and skiers on it. It's amazing.
That's how I roll.
It's a thing of beauty. Well, listen, thanks very much. We've got some amazing live music, haven't we?
Amazing live music. We're going to get Ben on now, I think. Yeah,
Ben. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Mr. Benjamin Smith.
Well, Ben.
Shadows grow so long before my eyes, and they're moving now across the page. Suddenly the day turns into night, far away from the city. But don't hesitate, 'cause your love won't wait long. 'Cause oh baby, I love your way. I wanna tell you I love your way every day. I wanna be with you night and day. Appears to shine and light the sky with the help of some firefly. Clouds are stalking islands in the sun. I wish I could buy one out of season. But don't hesitate, 'cause your love just won't wait long. Oh baby, I love your way. I wanna tell you I love your way every day. I wanna be with you night and day. I can see the sunset in your eyes, brown and gray, and blue besides. Clouds are stalking islands in the sun. Wish I could buy one out of season, but don't hesitate, 'cause your love just won't wait now. 'Cause oh baby, I love your way. I wanna tell you I love your way every day. I wanna be with you night and day. Wanna be with you now.
Dude, absolutely incredible. Your tone in your voice, amazing. Thank you. Loved it. Thank you so much for that.
Benjamin Smith, man, well done. Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have these 4 beautiful men with us. Five. Thanks, man.
Started already.
You could have ignored it.
No.
And I don't know whether if you've seen any of the promo. It's wedding photography and wedding cinematography.
We're videographers.
Video. Oh, okay. Definitely. Jeff Wood would be turning.
I know. Jeff would slap me.
So, for those people who don't know, on the left here is James Jebson, who's a wedding photographer. We have Mr. David Stubbs in the middle here, who's a wedding photographer. James Tracey at the end, who is wedding photographer. Stefan at the back there is a wedding videographer, and Roland as well is a wedding videographer. Now, if you've got any questions regarding wedding photography or wedding cinematography, get your questions in now. You can write a comment at the bottom, and these guys will be more than happy to answer those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you been busy this weekend, boys?
Always.
Yes. Yeah. All out this weekend, Stefan. This is. I don't want this to descend into a lads.
Keep it short.
That's right.
So Stefan has just returned from his stag party in where was it?
Bratislava.
Yep, lots of museums, libraries, and
Couple
a
of
nice
tours, city
weekend.
walks.
Can I just say as well in my defence about my shirt, Roland is in my corner. You got the memo? You got the email?
I did, yeah.
There he is. Belter.
Good shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shall we talk about wedding photography and wedding cinematography?
Let's.
What do you reckon?
If you want,
about
sure.
Yeah.
Have you got any questions for the lads?
Well, it's great for us because we doing what we do. We turn up at a wedding and there's always one of you guys there, or a few of the other guys, and it's fantastic because we all get on. We all enjoy working together, and it's nice when we have to do that. What do how does the process work in terms of someone booking you? I don't know who to come to. I'll go to James first. But how does the process work? So if you're getting married, what happens then? I need to book a photographer or a videographer.
Well, I think it's safe to say that photography is quite early on in the planning stages. Once the venue and the date is obviously confirmed, tends to be that photography, especially, is
probably the
quite
first.
Potentially.
Sometimes.
Venue first, usually. venue number one. Yeah.
Sometimes the dress.
And obviously from there, there's a lot of photographers. There's a heck of a lot of photographers. So what you tend to find is that the venues, especially, will be able to refer and kind of narrow that search down a lot because you can rely on Google and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes referrals are a lot nicer way to approach it. And from there, it's a case of finding a photographer's style that you want. I think that's key. And then once you've narrowed that search down and found somebody's style that you like, obviously there's budget elements involved in there, contacting the photographer's style. And if they're within budget, it's then taking it to the next step. Really.
So, actually, just taking it on from that, how does the booking process work?
Well, I think in the first instance, once they've found you, it's often their website that find you. So they come and take a look at your website, and then adding on to what James was saying, I think some couples, when they get engaged and look for a photographer for the first time, some know the style they're after. They may have seen it at the weddings. Others just go in blind thinking maybe even all photographers are pretty much the same. A photographer's a photographer, and then they educate themselves maybe as they look through lots of photographers' websites, and they start to learn that, well, maybe this guy does it slightly differently to this guy, or this lady does it differently to this person, and then they know the style that they want. Yeah, so then they're supposed to get in touch, like everyone else, same as you guys. They get in touch, email, usually, 90% of the time it's just email. And then I always respond back if they ring me. If they ring me, then I always try and do my communication over the phone. But generally, it's just through emails.
And that's a great example, and it's a great reason why there's more than one photographer on the couch this evening, because we all approach it in different ways. Like, for me, I meet each couple. I insist that we go for a beer, we have a chat.
Definitely.
Why are you laughing?
Any excuse for you to.
It's a great idea to meet couples and get them with a beer.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody. Some couples don't want that. Some couples just want to know
They
that.
have a lot of Skype calls.
And all that kind of
They
stuff.
speak to a lot of couples.
So
on
everybody's
Skype.
different, and I think if there's one thing that any potential bride or groom takes away from this evening is that granted, there are a lot of different photographers out there, but if you find the one that's right for you, like I say, some couples don't want to meet the photographer; they just want to know that that's the style, that's the price, that's cool. We want to go ahead.
Just coming to James. So once the booking's confirmed, what's the process from there? I mean, we've got pre-wedding shoots and stuff like that. How does that work for you?
There's lots of different ways of doing it, and again, just going off what these guys said, everybody does it slightly differently. I did do pre-wedding shoots; they were something to do. I don't do them as much now because they don't tend to work with the way that I shoot. I want to keep it a lot more natural, and I find that if you don't have that in advance, it makes the day flow a bit more naturally for me. But equally, if you're choosing a photographer that may set up shots a little bit more, then a pre-wedding shoot's really useful, and it works really well. So again, it comes down to what you want on your day, and kind of the style of photography you're looking for, really. And I think pre-wedding shoots. I don't think you do them much.
Well,
do you?
there is a bit of a myth. Well, in the style I shoot, there's a bit of a myth that a pre-wedding shoot is going to make your pictures better on the day. And for me, that doesn't really make any difference. I don't think. In fact, I think sometimes prefer them to go into the wedding day without any preconceptions.
That's kind of how I've got to.
However, there has been some couples that have said that it's helped with their nerves.
Yeah.
You know, they're particularly nervous. It's helped them relax or maybe understand you a little bit better. But I mean, we're not really going into style too much now. Well, I don't think we are. But,
Well, I'm guessing we'll go into that.
well,
later.
yeah, but I was going to say.
I thought that's what pre-wedding shoots were all about the relationship with a photographer.
Well, how I work on a pre-wedding shoot is just not how I work on a wedding day, because
Right.
on a wedding day I'm not interacting with couples at all and letting things flow. So on a pre-wedding shoot I have to interact somewhat. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's,
of course, yeah.
it's how I work on a pre-wedding shoot is representative of 15 minutes in the day, which is where we have some relaxed pictures of the couple together. But that is it. You know?
Whereas for me, I include a pre-wedding shoot.
Right, okay.
Well, that's good. That's
Which
why
is
you-
great to show, and that's
We all do it slightly differently, don't we?
that's my point, and it is absolutely about everybody approaches it differently and what's right for you.
So we've got the boys at the back. Andy.
Hello, boys. How are you?
Very well.
I've noticed. I don't know if you've noticed, but over the past couple of years, cinematography is becoming more and more popular. Why is cinematography becoming more popular, do you think, at weddings?
John, what do you think?
You can do your thing.
All right, sorry, explain.
There he is.
We had this thing going. He goes, well, so glad you asked that.
But it just seems to be
Yeah, no, I think
more
it's
and more
because, you know, we all remember the wedding videos from the 90s, early 80s with these long, boring VHS things, you know, we've just...
Date and time in the corner.
Beautiful.
What was your wedding video?
My wedding video, the videographer put the camera's about that big.
Russian army camera in the corner. We mention it every single time. Every
I
time.
put it on a tripod on the stage with the date in the bottom and left it there for 7 hours. My wife watches it all the time.
Andy,
She says,
that's actually my style.
this guy's walking past doing that.
That's what we do.
No, but
It's become more
we've
popular.
all seen now, because ever since SLRs came into it, you know, with like
Yep.
big sensors and the depth of field, and these obviously look more like a film themselves now, that people really started to want them more. And obviously they're better editing, because they are edited so differently now, you know, with like the speeches overlay, the image, instead of just having... It's
like Hollywood.
Beautiful.
It is.
I
It
think
is.
a lot of the technology has really come along.
There's more tools now.
Yeah,
you know, like
there's more
drones,
tools, more
gimbals.
affordable drones, gimbals, movement. There's so much more that can go into a wedding video now. If you're going to put it as 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes.
I know you for like your drone footage as well as
Yeah,
what
do
you
quite a
do.
lot-
And
quite a lot of
how
drones.
does that? You know, if someone was watching and you're like, well, do I need a drone? How does that work? What do you do with that sort of
I
thing?
mean, it
Probably
all
getting
depends.
off
Like
subject,
our sort of client base, they all you know, they see us for the drone work that we do. And in regards to drones, there's not much that we need to set up. We just get the bride and groom to walk around, like work in the venue. You know, whether it be like Sandhole at Barn, you know, walk down by the lake, or Heaton House Farm by the tree. We just get them to walk. There's no real setup with it. They walk, and we just get some drone shots around.
Can anybody fly a drone, or do you have to have like a special qualification, or can I just go out and...
You have to have a license for anything that's for commercial gain.
Basically a
like,
pilot license.
Yeah, it's a drone license. So the answer, yeah, you have to have a drone.
So it's quite an intense sort of training kind of service to get.
Yeah, the paperwork can be a bit of a nightmare.
Right.
Like an 80-page
Yeah,
thing you have to put together.
Yeah, it's quite intense. There's quite a lot of risk assessments and stuff that need to go into it. But that's boring. We don't need to.
Plus, that'll give you a lot of skill in the way you fly it and get your amazing shots
I
and
think
stuff.
that just kind of comes with time, and the different sort of venues, the different rooms. All comes with time.
So, how do you guys operate on a wedding day? Are you there from the bridal prep, or do you just turn up at the church, or does that
It
vary?
depends on the package, really.
Most of the time now I'm from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9, 10 at night, so it's like a 12-hour day. We get it from the bridal preps all the way through to the first dance, and covering obviously the after party. Because a lot of times when I've been there with Gavin, I want to stay longer just because Gavin's band or any good band or a DJ, any disc jockey, any good disc.
I was wondering when he was going there. Back door.
Let's get it in there, Andy.
Good recovery.
So that was Roland. Back to David. Yeah, he DJs as well now.
You got my number.
Wow.
I thought you said you weren't going to mention me DJing on air anymore.
Well, can't help. Anyway,
I DJ, by the way.
very badly.
Terrible.
Okay. Any more questions there, Gavin?
So I don't know. I mean, what's
Well, there's some questions which I did a bit of research on Tinternet to find out, the questions that bride and grooms are asking. And there's obvious questions like, what happens if your camera was to fail on the day? James?
I've got more than one.
Brilliant.
That's a simple thing. Simple thing. I have 4 cameras.
Yeah.
Another thing which is becoming quite popular as well is unplugged weddings, where you try and get guests
that the other day
to come in the
I got
background.
that the other day. I sang at the ceremony, and the announcement went out. Damien Brandon was, hey Damien,
Demo.
was shooting it, and they did an announcement before the ceremony. No one taking any pictures. We've paid enough professional photographer. Does that make your job easier?
It doesn't really bother me. Some people get really upset about
I've been
it.
caught out, when they're coming down the aisle and then suddenly this iPad comes across.
An iPad.
Yeah, this is it. iPads at wedding. When did that become a thing?
iPads are never ever acceptable ever at a wedding.
Yeah.
You're at a concert and someone's giving it that.
Yeah.
Is there any chance?
I think again, it's that that opinion that varies
Just
for me.
a ceremony, really. Just a ceremony. Just the ceremony.
Everything else is fine.
Yeah, for me,
if you set up a shot and then someone bounces in round the back of the shot,
I've had that quite.
Would that
sure
annoy you?
Well, the couple's eyes
I think if you
taken away from the photographer.
if you spent time, I mean, we approach wedding days all differently, very differently. Whereas I'll do some elements where I've really styled a particular shot. And then if I have a relative who's had a few too much to drink and he's going, just hang on guys, let's just do it. It's frustrating, but it's not. I'm not going to be like, what are you doing?
It's like you've got to make it work. When that kind of thing happens, you have to kind of integrate
The only
it.
time for me it's really been hard work is, I mean, as professionals we can deal with any situation.
Absolutely.
But during a ceremony, sometimes we have restrictions imposed on us by vicars, celebrants. You must stand here. You're not allowed to move at all. And if that's the only place you can stand and the only place you're allowed to go, and then there's someone stood in your way with an iPad halfway down the aisle, there's literally nothing you can do.
The problem I find is people nowadays are taking pictures purely for social media. They're not taking them to look at.
No. It's
I want to get on Facebook first. And
that was another thing as well. I don't know whether do you speak to the bride and groom about this, because at my wedding the other day they said no pictures on Facebook before 2 days, which I found frightening.
No, I
believe it.
To be fair, I don't
Is
know
that really
if my brother's
standard?
watching it, but my brothers, they said on their order of service, no pictures until we've had our pro shots back on social media.
That's
but
really
policing
popular.
it, I think,
come from us, though,
I think
I don't
policing
think.
it's quite hard. It doesn't come from us, because how do you stop people from sticking stuff on social
Well,
media?
it would take up. I mean, if you've got a 4 wedding weekend, which I imagine you might well have, then how are you going to get the images to them in time to? You can't do that.
No. But
I mean, I just found that interesting.
I don't know about you. It's never come from me.
No,
I've seen it, but it's never come from us.
So that leads us on to another question, which is here about how long does it take for a bride and groom to get their images? Because you're all going to vary on this, because you're all quite busy.
Yeah.
It's a long process.
Depends on the time
I've
of the
got
year.
4 weddings in a row this week. I'm Thursday,
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so those weddings are going to take a little bit longer. Just because the way this weekend I only did one, so it does tend to. August, you guys are probably the same, like crazy busy with weddings, so it takes a little bit longer.
September's our busiest month.
September, another one, yeah.
Is everyone else the same?
Yeah.
It's gone nuts.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of like that April, May, June, and then it's still busy, but not as busy, and then later on September. But it is all year round.
I think you try and aim for, 4 to 6 weeks is what I try and aim for. I try and go quicker than that if I can. But obviously,
for me, 2 to 3 weeks when it's quiet.
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks, nearer 6 weeks when it's busy.
So the beauty of having you guys here today is you're all different. You all provide a similar service, but in a different way. And we're going to talk about each individual's pictures. And I think we'll start with James Tracey. You've brought some images which we're going to show on the screen. You can tell us what's happening in the build up to.
Go on, then critique me. Go on, pull me apart. Pull me apart.
So this straight in there. Open up to the floor.
You sure that's yours, James?
Yeah.
Where'd you put that?
So go on, James. Talk us through some of these images.
Well, right. Do you want me to do this on these or wait? Because I think we've picked 3 that I can.
Oh, have you? Okay.
I can talk about. Is it right? Here we go. Right. Little bit like David. I'm not as true documentary as David. I think you're like 100%, aren't you? I'd say 90% of the day I don't want to get involved or direct anything. And this shot, you guys know it well.
Tom's online.
It's on there.
Yeah, the bakers are online.
Hey! Gav locked up Tom here. That's their chains on him. He was put on trial for crimes against fashion. And what I'm looking for, what you're looking for in the speeches is emotion, moments, reactions. Things that tell a story without obviously telling a story. And I think you look at this shot and you know straight away what's gone on. You've got your groom has been royal. I mean, his best man speech was.
The best man speech was one of the best I've seen. It was
phenomenal.
Really well thought of. Yeah.
And there was times when I was laughing and forgetting to shoot. It was that good. But I think that one there, you know it's a wedding. You know what's going on, and that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Eve's Hall.
Yeah, Eve's Hall. Great venue. Great venue. This is sort of classic wedding stuff that I think we all look for.
That's the moment, isn't it?
Emotion.
When he's seen her.
Right,
that's the bit you want.
We all know it, don't we? That we've worked there. There's a mirror right behind where I'm stood. So Ryan in this is looking at his wife to be walking up the aisle, and it's just got a bit much.
Amazing,
he's had that moment.
It's nice to see a man showing a bit of emotion because you don't often see that.
He gets rinsed, I suspect, for this on Facebook and the like. But for me, that's kind of what it's all about, really.
But from a photo point of view, a lesser photographer would just photograph the bride with her dad walking down the aisle.
Well spotted.
You can't forget the groom. Amazing.
No, absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Great comment, love that.
Men get married too, don't they? So
They do, yeah.
We always get forgotten.
Yes. Yeah.
Lovely comment, David. Yeah,
and then I try and do something in the.
Where's this one, James?
It was in New York. Come on. Just drop that one in.
Destination weddings, you do them, yeah?
I get around New York. Get married in New York, I like it.
Did you get an award for that one?
It came runner-up. Some guy paid for a newspaper advert and beat me. So
no way.
Not that I'm bitter or anything. Couple photos. Try and do something a little bit that tells a little bit of the story. I do get a little bit involved in that. Here we're in New York. I don't know if I mentioned it, but iconic building, great light. So let's try and do something a little bit different.
Was that difficult to do in terms of the logistics? With it being it's quite a busy area, getting the bride and groom there.
It wasn't too bad going in, but I couldn't take a tripod, so we had to just balance it on a wall, and it took 2 or 3 shots.
Are all you guys open to suggestion when a couple say we want to go here, or we want to do this, or we want to try something a bit different? Is that something you're open to, David?
For me, well, it comes back to. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm the best person to ask now because I'll talk a bit more about my style in a minute when my slideshow comes up. But
Olin's left. Okay, right.
He's had enough. He's out.
Do you want to come on to me now?
Can do, yeah. We can move on to David's. David's brought some images, which we can show.
Through first. Is this my images or is this the slideshow?
This is your images.
No, my images. Okay, so this image is Natalie and Neil's wedding. This is Natalie and her bridesmaids in the morning of the wedding. Now, my style is predominantly documentary, and what I mean by that is that I don't stop or pose or orchestrate anything in the day at all. I have this strong belief that if I create anything, then there's no meaning in the photo. And for me, it's all about. I mean, my cheesy line is "real moments, real memories." And if I capture a moment for real, then it becomes a real memory for you as the years go on. And in this photo, I particularly like this photo because I like shooting wide. This is quite a wide lens. and I try and get multiple things in the same frame. And I think it's easy to get a single subject. It gets harder to get 2 subjects in a frame, but I think there's 8 girls here, all nicely evenly spaced. Brilliant. Okay, well, this next image is a particular favourite of mine I took last year at John and Julia's wedding at Disney House Hotel. And I particularly like this image because usually after the meal, bride and groom run off somewhere, guests go and check in, not a lot's going on, and for me, I'm always trying to look for something a bit different this time because photos aren't coming every second, if you know what I mean. So I saw, this is actually the bride and groom's daughter, and she was flitting and running in and out the door and playing as children do. And I was getting some nice photos of her spinning and jumping and laughing. But I kept telling myself, how can I make this really good? Because I had a bit of time because she was carrying on playing. So I ran up to the top of the stairs, and I'm all for asymmetry in shots, but I like the symmetry in this. And just waited for it to kind of piece together, really. And she spanned right nicely in the middle of the door.
The shadows kill her as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just one of those. It just worked together.
Yeah.
She could have been a foot to the right and she'd have merged into the door photo-wise and it wouldn't have looked as good. But yeah, really chuffed with that one. Yeah. This Vicky and Chris's wedding at Thornton Manor, and again another of my favourites on my homepage slideshow. And for me, this image kind of sums me up, I think, as a photographer, because again, a little bit like the first image, there's
lots going on.
I shouldn't keep looking at the image, but should I be looking at the camera? There's lots. Oh no, the camera can't see.
No,
me,
yeah.
can it? That's great. For me, there's lots going on now. I'm all for laughter, and I follow people around laughing and joking and having a good time. But in the morning, again, this is a prep picture. I didn't purposely pick 2 preparation pictures to show. But there's so many elements going on. You've got the dress hung up on the left. You've got the bride in the background having hair makeup done. You've got the bride's sister having her hair done on the right. And it's actually the bride's mother sat down playing with her grandchildren, which is the bride and the sister's children playing with her. And I mean, for me, I would hope they've got this image on their wall. And because this is a moment in their lives. This is a period in time, and I love all the elements coming together. There's bits of the image I dislike, like the top of the image there's not a lot going on. The lights aren't on. That's me just being picky as a photographer. But yeah, that's one.
It's a stunning image. It's a great image.
Yeah. This is the last image for me to talk about now. It's very rare to see detail shots from me actually. Now I do detail shots, but I generally don't photograph the shoes on their own, even though I'll talk, that's contradictory to this image, which I'll talk about in a minute, or the flowers on their own. I try and get these details live, so I usually shoot the flowers were in the bride's hands or the bridesmaid's hands, rather than just sat on a shelf or put somewhere nice by the photographer. Now, when this is at the Hilton in Manchester, which we can see from here, and the bride was getting ready with the bridesmaids and a family, and when I walked in the room, this is exactly where the shoes were. I haven't touched them, I haven't moved them, I haven't placed them there. This is just where she left them. And for me, that's the perfect detail shot, because yes, it's a photo of the shoes, but it's a story to it as well. It's just showing the location of where the shoes are, where the wedding is, the height from the Hilton.
It's a great shot.
If I say it's freezing here, please.
I didn't know it was back
It's pretty cool.
Dave, they were fantastic.
Stunning, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Really interesting.
And the Hilton one's got the contrast of the height and, as you said, the details in the shoes. James, you've got some pictures to show us, I think?
Yeah. So if we want to forget about the slideshow, we'll just go straight to the images. Talking about, like Dave said, talking about moments, hopefully you can see this on your screens, but there's a tear rolling down the right eye just there.
Beautiful.
Which again, for me, it's the detail elements as well as the moments, like Dave said, it's the detail. Again, could be photographing the guy or girl doing the speech, but for me it's the reactions to the speech right now that are really creating that. And that's the other end of that. So if we just hold on that image for a while, again, just reiterating what Dave said, instead of just going off the guy speaking, we've kind of got a few different reactions going on there. Literally one of my favourite images, Rosemary. In fact, she was a bridesmaid at the wedding I shot on Saturday, but this was her wedding at the Inn at Whitewell a couple of years ago. And for me, that's just great. We've got the bride who's surprised at the story. Yeah. We've got the groom who's obviously loving this moment. We've got the best man throwing his everything. We've got mum of the bride who's really happy about this story. And we've got father who's obviously very proud with his napkin over his face.
Who's the groom? Is it Lewis?
The groom is John Livesey. Thanks for testing me, Gav. He was John Livesey, who, God love him, London John. You know who you are. But yeah, just again for me is very much telling the story. I think everybody that was at that wedding remembers that best man speech.
Great picture, mate.
Yeah, thank you. And then this is kind of the opposite end of what James was talking about before. We've kind of got that connotation of what the groom's going through, but the focus is on the bride, as the whole room was on. But I was kind of one of the very few people privy to what the groom was experiencing and trying to hide it in a beautiful way, but you kind of get the feeling of what he was going through without him having to actually be focused on. So again, it just reiterates what we were talking at the very beginning about. We all approach it differently. It's not been a conscious thing that I've gone, yeah, I'm going to keep him blurred out.
So is it literally just a time that you're there, you just take the shot and it happens like that?
I think especially photographers, again, without sounding arrogant, of our level, it's very much, we do this week in, week out, sometimes more than once.
So you know where to be almost.
So there's a gut instinct of you've got a feeling. You can tell when that bride was behind those doors with the doors shut, you could have a feeling of what the groom is going through. And you can see that, this groom particularly, just a normal lad. He wasn't like an emotional guy that was constantly in tears. Very quiet, very, just a normal lad.
It's a very terrifying place to be.
Absolutely. And
we've all been there. We're all married out.
Absolutely. And it is a moment you've kind of built up, albeit the majority of grooms have never, or very few grooms really get involved in the prep stuff of a wedding. But this moment, you've been stood there, you've just had all the guests come up to you and going, how are you feeling? You're all right. Yeah. And that kind of builds you up.
You'll be all right, mate. You'll be all right,
You stood at the end of there, the registrar's had its chat, or the priest has had their chat. And then all of a sudden the music kicks in, and you turn around, and I don't care who you are, you lock eyes on that person down that aisle, and you're in a bubble. You don't.
Yes, it's choker, isn't it?
Exactly that. And this for me is that moment without kind of. I could have quite easily focused on him and been a little bit and ruined his moment, but I was like, you know what?
I think you've terrified Stefan behind you there.
Yeah. Good luck with that, by the way. Good luck with that.
Stefan's getting married in a few weeks, so.
But yeah, so very much the moment. This. Again, for me, and I know James and Dave both do this, looking at the areas differently. Now, this for me is an area, again, same venue, just as before as the speech at the Inn at Whitewell, which is that beautiful, quintessentially very green out in the countryside.
Where's that at the
Exactly the great question, Gav. Thank you for that part.
Because I know that venue really well, and I've never seen a shipping container.
Well. Exactly that. and this is the difference of what you're getting when you've got a photographer. Again, without it sounds really arrogant, but when you've got a photographer who looks at things differently. So I could have quite easily done a beautiful, and I'm sure I did do within this selection of images in the field and the view and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what? The textures, and you can almost feel and smell that rust element in there. Yeah. And the great element of, I like it, but he's cutting your heads off type thing from grandma and all that kind of stuff, which I'm sure is a thing. But this for me is quite a stylish shot, but without it being too posed in the same breath as well. But I'm very much textures and colours. And again, this is that element. Again, I once had a guest say to me, "You're shooting into the sun there, son. You shouldn't be doing that." And this was the image. This was it.
Andy gets that all the time. You know, like when you've been in the game, you used to DJ at the clubs with Bernard Manning years ago.
But you do, there's a lot of people reading a lot of blogs and a lot of magazines. And Helen and Conrad, incredible wedding at Meals Hall over in Southport. Just that element of, they said to me, all my couples are very different. Some of them don't particularly like having quite a lot of them don't particularly like having their photograph taken, whereas it seems that I kind of excel in that element because I can make people feel comfortable in front of the camera, so I've been told. Whereas those guys, they were like, yeah, we want something cool, we want something different, and we're up for disappearing for 15 minutes and getting something different, and that's what we've got. And again, I brought this up just for this was the element of, and again, very different to James and Dave,
Striking image that. I love
well,
that.
I do styled elements. I very much, and again, it probably links in why I do the pre-wedding shoot. So this element of a bride, again, going away from the classic stare into the distance type stuff, we're kind of showcasing the dress. Rochelle, absolutely amazing bride, very chilled. And again, a couple, Rochelle and Dave, that weren't very keen on having their photo taken. They weren't like dreading it or anything like that, but they were like, do you know what, we're not 100% for the camera. It's not something we enjoy doing.
Shoot,
she's rocking it, you know what I mean? And
beautiful.
And
the dress, the way the dress falls,
and that's it. Yeah, and it's not by coincidence that it's falling like that.
Yeah,
excellent, lovely images.
This over at Owen House Barn, which I know you guys were at a few months ago.
Are we going through your entire year?
So this is 2014. Settling. We're getting racy now, guys. Here we go. This featured in a magazine based on pro photo. No, okay. So Stu and Selene. This is just an example again.
Owen House Farm.
Owen House Farm. Lighting elements again. So. Different to these guys from the point of view that these guys are solid documentary and that's a beautiful thing, but I've kind of thrown some lighting in there, got something that I'm like, get that blown up, get it on the lounge wall, that's something epic. Yeah. Which again is my aim for each couple. I want them to be like, how has he done that? That is like something that can't be recreated, or you know, that's particularly my style. This was an award winner, this, Andy. I don't know if you want to mention.
Oh,
boom!
It's on the floor.
Thank you very much.
I like awards.
Rachel, yeah, I know, I can tell. Yeah, Rachel and James, just again about a photographer that sees things a little bit different.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so the symmetry,
that's really great.
That kind of stuff. I can tell that you want me to flip really quickly, so we'll go a little bit quicker. I think that's it.
Jesus is the ball.
This was me. You said to prep up. You said to prep up. So this again is a nice lead for you guys. What if the weather's bad? Which is
that's been a question that's come up. People have asked it.
Look at that.
Nicola Baker.
So what if your weather's bad? There's two images here, Nicola, that I'm going to show you. Oh, we're straight on to the second one. If you just go back to that other one. So the basically, again, photographers of our standards can work without sanitarium within the majority of conditions. Obviously, if there's a hurricane, we're going to go and lag it. But you know, this is an element. This was a January wedding. The snowflakes kicking down. You know. And still, Liz and John have got an image that they were ridiculously happy with. And the next image again, it's you can't help but get snuggly under an umbrella. Even the couples that aren't necessarily cuddly and all that kind of stuff will naturally do that. And then you throw some light into that situation.
Was that your magic word for this broadcast, snuggly?
It wasn't. It was quintessentially. Thanks to Rick Short. Marmalade was another one.
So for those who've just joined us, it's the James Jebson Hour.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. You guys go and take 5. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
We do have some great wedding suppliers who are also watching and wishing us good luck.
Adam Evanson, I've just seen.
Jenny Sorden saying good luck.
Vanilla and Olsen. Jenny Sorden, who played for us last time. Thanks very
Aaron
much.
Rose.
Adam Wing. Michelle
Kenji Fenton. Wow.
Kenji Fenton will not be. We won't be on now. I'll tell you that right now. I know Kenji's attention span is about 2 seconds. So they go.
All right.
So we're gonna pass on to Stefan now.
Yeah,
Stefan, how are you, mate?
I don't think I'm going to be as chatty as this guy. Let's go for it. I'm going to be honest. Okay, so I think we're going to go on to some video. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to come over here so you can hear me a little bit more. Okay, so quite a lot of the videos that we do, we include quite a lot of movement, quite a lot of drone work. And what I like about the drone work is the sort of the wide shots that you get that sort of bring everything to life. And this can go in a variety of different locations. Like, I mean, these clips are from all over Europe. This one's from Tuscany that we did last year. This one, Eaton House Farm, great venue, beautiful. You know, it's got a really big space for us to fly the ashes. And we can put the bride and groom. Like, we don't like to set anything up. Like that's kind of our philosophy. We don't like to set anything up. When we work with photographers, like we work with James Jebson quite a lot, David Stubbs, James Tracey. A lot of the stuff that we do is when the bride and groom are getting their portrait pictures done, so we can set this kind of stuff up there and then. Like we're coming into with the gimbal work that we do here.
Amazing! Wow.
Yeah, so we have the bride and groom stood there. So during this time, they're having the portrait pictures done because we don't like to direct anything. We just kind of like piggyback off the back of whatever the photographer's doing at the time.
Sweet.
So this one, the photographer's getting his shot, and it just kind of brings everything, like, you know, not every videographer, and there's a lot of great videographers out there that don't do movement. You know, you've got James Ray, you've got Aaron Rose, you've got Roland, you've got like all these really great videographers that don't have movement. But for me, it kind of brings everything to life, that you kind of feel like you're there if you have movement. You know, it kind of feels like you're walking into the shot, and it just, yeah, it brings everything to life. Like this one was one in Turkey we shot last year, and here we are in the Lake District, and it's just, yeah, for me, it brings everything to life.
As you said there, the movement does make the whole image just comes out of the screen once things are moving a bit, don't they?
Oh, it does, and yeah,
It's your unique style. That's the thing. This is what makes you a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, if everyone was the same, it'd just be pointless. It'd be quite.
There's so many. For bride and grooms, there's so many different options. You know, of what they can get. You know, you can have like James Ray.
James.
James shoots everything really tight, and you know,
Just like his jeans.
Yeah, just like
That kind of guy.
yoga.
10 o'clock in the morning doing yoga.
Beautiful.
10 o'clock in the morning. But like the way he kind of shoots is everything's like really tight, but it works. And the good thing is that there's so many different options out there now.
It's like what we were saying before. It's look at what look at loads of different photographers, videographers, and pick what works.
What suits you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I want at a wedding.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And this is why we brought you guys together, because everybody's different, got their own unique kind of look on things. And Roland, you've brought a little clip for us to look at.
I'm not going to play it because I knew what Stefan was going to bring, so I wanted to have a contrast. So one of the most important things about video is obviously the audio as well.
Okay.
Because my thoughts are, we're all trying to get a story, make a story for the branding, whether it's photography, videography. So when you're doing video, it's very important to capture the audio, because the most important parts of the day are the ceremony and the speeches.
Yeah.
And for me, if you don't have the audio, you're missing 50% of the story. So on the clip, when Harry's ready, I'm just going to let it flow, and it just really shows, it starts off with the bride who kind of is choking up a little bit as she's doing her vows, and then it switches to like the groom where he's talking about his bride whilst they're doing the first dance, and then I bring a little bit of humour in later, because we got a best man who actually sings his speech, so it's important to capture the audio in them particular cases, and then finishing off with like some of the audio from which involves Gavin, from the party after, really. So when you're ready, Harry.
I will be faithful and honest.
I will be faithful and honest.
I will share with you my hopes and dreams.
I will share with you my hopes and dreams.
She's the first there when anyone needs help and can make the best out of any situation. She understands me better than anyone else and is always there when I need her. Sam, I want to thank you for marrying me and making me the happiest man in the world. You mean so much to me, and it's an honour to call you my wife.
The reason I wanted to marry Alexa is because I feel at home in her presence. You know, there have been situations in everyone's lives when you sit across from someone and you think there's no connection here. You can be very, very lonely in a busy place, like a city, for example. But with Alexa, I always just feel no loneliness whatsoever. I feel like she understands everything.
Want to say goodbye, I really miss her. Little love affair when you tweak my nips and pull my hair. I couldn't understand.
Very clever work there, Roland.
Thank you very much, sir. That's what I mean, though, because you're capturing the audio, and not everybody wants the speeches, but my style, which is obviously, like you said, everyone's got their own different style, is I like to use the speeches, the readings, the vows, and everything to create the story with obviously the images laid over the top as well. So that's
brilliant, amazing work. It's such a diverse group out there.
No, we chose very well.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. I think we'd have a bit more music.
Yeah, yours.
We'll have some music, because some of the lads need to just warm up slightly and maybe have a bit of a break. So, we want to hear Ben.
I want to hear it again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing. The first one was
Incredible.
So Ben, thanks again for coming along, mate. And Ben is going to give us another song.
Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach. I feel it in the air, the summer's out of reach. Empty lake, empty streets, the sun goes down low. I'm driving by your house, though I know you're not home. And I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. You got your hair combed back, sunglasses on, baby. I can tell you my love for you would still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. Never would forget those nights. I wonder if it was a dream. Remember how I made you crazy? Remember how I made you scream? Now I don't understand what happened to our love. Babe, I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna show you what I'm made of. I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. I see you walking real slow, smiling at everyone. I can tell you my love for you would still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. I can see you, your brown skin shining in the sun. I see you walking real slow and you're smiling at everyone. I can tell you my love for you would still be strong after the boys of summer have gone.
Beautiful, absolutely love that song.
Incredible.
So made up that he sang that. That's amazing.
That's Benjamin. Benjamin's. Do you sing at weddings and stuff like that as well, Benjamin? Yeah. Cool. What a way to have.
You're in about 15 bands, aren't you?
I do get around. I do get about.
Basically, the whole BandTube website, clangbandtube.co.uk. The whole BandTube website's got Ben in every single band.
Well, we're going to do some questions. We've got a few questions coming. One of the questions is how do videographers and photographers work together on a gig on a wedding day?
It depends.
Do you get in each other's way?
I'd say it depends a lot on the photographer, because me and Jebson have worked together quite a few times.
Yeah, man.
The only real thing that we need on the day is like what we sort of like need to be involved in is the portrait shots.
Right.
So we're a photographer like James. He'll take the bride and groom off to a place in the venue, like a lovely spot, a few different lovely spots, and we just get walking shots as they go from place to place. We get the movement shots there and then, so we don't actually need to direct anything. But when we worked with Stubbsy before, he doesn't like to direct anything. So on the wedding that we did with him, we sort of we just took the bride and groom for a walk. We just got shots of them like walking around. And yeah, so that
I think the only time you can be on top of each other is in the ceremony. But I've worked with James before, I've worked with David before. You just have a slight plan and say, right, I'm going to be here, you're going to be there, and that's it. Yeah. That's as complicated as it gets.
Just have a chat at the start of the day.
I think that's the thing. For
just
me,
have your awareness.
I speak to the videographer before. I turn up on the day and I always say, what do you guys need? And as long as we're able to move around, I've got legs I can move 2-3 yards. Yeah. You guys are a little bit more fixed.
We all need to get the same kind of stuff at the end of the day.
So why would a bride and groom book a videographer if they've already got a photographer?
Well, for me, it's pretty much what I said before, because you do need both. Because, like I said, the audio is one of the most important parts of the day. The speech is one of the biggest things of the day. So photography just doesn't cover that, so you need that to bring in the humour and obviously the vowels, which is one of the most important things. You need to actually record
that was the question, by the way. It wasn't me who's asking that question.
They complement each other really well, I think.
No, they do, absolutely.
And I think it's the one thing I didn't have on our wedding, and because I wish genuinely, I'm not just saying it because I do wish that we had it.
I think the one thing about video is like...
Yeah, yours was not great, was it?
Yeah. With every sort of video that we do, like, I have no idea what the video's going to look like in the end.
You don't until you finish shooting.
Really? Even on the day, I have no idea. Like, when I get it into the edit, that's when I sort of know whether it's all going to come together, and it all depends on like how the speeches are. If the speeches are funny, if they're emotional, that determines what kind of music it's going to be. It determines how long the shots are going to be. So whenever I sit down with the bride and groom before for the client meeting beforehand, I can't tell them what their video is going to look like.
Right.
It could either be really slow,
and that's a positive thing as well.
Someone might say, well, why?
Yeah.
But for you, I think that's actually really good because it's a creative process.
Even after I've shot,
something will emerge.
Absolutely. Exactly. After I've shot the wedding, and like I come home and I've got a really good feeling about how it's gone, and like I'll come home and I'm like, right, nailed it today. Yeah. Really good day. Until it could be a month, 2 months until I get into the edit. Until I get into that edit suite, there's no inclination about what it's going to look like.
Because sometimes, because you come away from one, and because like the night who's overtaking everything, thinking this is going to be a party video.
Yep.
Going to use fast music like the edit you showed me recently. Where it was like the pop video.
The part everyone was dancing. It was a Nigerian wedding, and everyone was dancing from the beginning, and it just gave me a little bit more leeway in the edit. In a way that I could cut it to faster music. I could sort of play with in the edit. I've been chatting with Jeff Wood, another videographer, and the way that he sort of edits, he sort of implements a lot of different styles, and I was like, I liked it, so we sort of tried it with that video, and it worked. The client loved it, and it was amazing.
Good.
Yeah. Sorry, David. Yeah.
Nearly forgot what I was going to say. Or have I forgot what I was going to say?
It's probably about Andy changing his shirt.
Oh, you noticed! You noticed!
Andy's changed his shirt, if anyone's noticed.
Well, I know what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that, I just shown 4 of my photos. No bride and groom can say, well, we want the same as that. Because they happened at those weddings.
Yeah,
and I had no idea that those moments were going to happen. So I took what I saw the best I could.
It's a live event, isn't it?
Absolutely. But what I will say to couples is that you're going to have your own unique pictures. Something that I've never taken or no one else has ever had before.
We've had a question from Gemma Louise. What if you want a bride and groom photographed or videoed in the morning, and there's just one of you? How do you manage that? 2 separate locations. How does that work?
I get this asked a lot because I work on my own, and I work on my own. Well, we all work on our own. Specifically, again, for that reason of the elements where we can get the natural storytelling elements. Again, quintessentially, it's very much sorry. It's very. I know you. Thanks, it's about keeping that low-key profile. However, you've got a bride and groom in 2 separate areas. For me, it's about planning your time efficiently. And it's not about timetabling elements, it's about ensuring that you can see both of them. And then 9 times out of 10, the groom is going to be getting ready or going to be having a beer very close to his bride-to-be.
For me, it's nearly always groom first, because he's a little bit more flexible. The guys only take about 20 minutes to get ready usually in the morning, so I can be with them maybe 3 hours before the ceremony starts. They get ready, and then even if it's a half-hour drive, I can still do that. Then go with the bride, but then I'm going to be back with the groom again just before the ceremony.
Yeah, exactly. That. And for me, I always aim to, if 9 times out of 10 the lads are having a beer before ceremony. So for me, aside from lads getting ready, shirt on, pants on, kind of ready, it's a little bit weird potentially to be photographed at that point, whereas final touches of tie being tied, having a beer, a little bit of banter amongst the lads, that for me is kind of the prep, the lads prep is having a beer and all that kind of stuff. And then, whether it's bouncing between doing the girls first and nipping to the lads whilst the girls are getting changed to bob back and all that kind of stuff. However it works, and again, when I do the pre-wedding shoot, after we've done sort of the photography side, about 30 minutes max for photos on a pre-wedding shoot, we sit down, have a beer, there's kind of a running theme in it, have a beer and a chat and talk about what the plans are, and from there I work around what I can do to make sure I see both bride and groom.
There's a lot to it, isn't there?
There's a lot to it. James, Tom Baker, how do you deal with inclement weather?
Well,
is that your word?
Tom would know, wouldn't he?
It is actually. Tom, as he said, something down. I used inclement weather.
Private education. To throw a bit in, Tom and Nick's wedding, you guessed. You did the DJing. It was a marquee wedding outside, phenomenal venue, beautiful Citadel in Telford. Unfortunately, it would have been incredible with great weather, but it threw it down all day.
Yeah.
And basically, I buy an app for about $2.99 that says.
Harry, cheers, mate. You're a little bit smaller than me.
Right, your life there, go.
It's freezing.
It's anyway, guys, I'm not joking. Cheers, Harry. We had a little outage there, but we're back. I was going to ask the video voice.
Yep.
Big question. Go on then, you go first.
Oh
then.
no, you've already asked that one. Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, what do brides and grooms get as a final product? Because years ago it was a DVD.
I think it also depends on the company really. But I think from us, you get a 2 to 5 minute highlights, which is kind of like just a breakdown of the day. You kind of see it on our website, on the YSD Media website. You get a 15 to 35 minute feature film, which is kind of like, it's a chronological order of the day. So you have like the getting ready in the morning, and it'll be intercut with parts of the speeches to really bring it to life. So like in the morning, the bride will be getting ready, and it'll be talking. The father of the bride will be speaking in his speech later on in the day about how when he saw her for the first time, and we'll cut that with shots of him seeing her for the first time, and it brings that emotion to it. Later on in the day, it could be the best man talking about the groom. And then it'll be intercut with shots with him arriving at the venue, and it brings a bit of comedy into it especially when you bring the best men into it. And that 15 to 35 minutes, and then we also provide like the full ceremony and the full speeches, like with the extras. And in regards to delivery, we don't really do DVD anymore, because DVDs, like VHS, could not be around in 10 years' time. But I say to every bride and groom, well, most bride and groom want a DVD, and what we say is, you're going to be married for the rest of your lives. How long a DVD is going to be around for? Like VHS.
Anybody got a DVD
now? I would say.
It's going now, because we stream everything on TV.
What's that? It's because every telly. Give it 5 years, every telly will have a USB.
Well, at the moment, I'm USB.
Anything that was made in the last 2 years has got a USB.
We do quite a lot of online deliveries now, where we build an online menu which they can send. If they've got any family in Australia.
Oh, so a website.
It's on a website.
So
you do that as well?
Not yet. No.
So it's like scene selection, so they can cut to certain parts. They can cut to this the ceremony, the speeches, the feature film, the highlights.
And apparently that's there forever, isn't it?
It is there forever. I mean, if I decide, like, in 5 years I'm going to become a farmer. Don't know. But like, if we decide that we don't want to do this in 5 years' time, like our clients are going to be married forever. So we want them to be able to have access to that till the end of time.
It's their website, isn't it?
So is there a cost for that? Because obviously
that's all included with what we do. We also do USB. USB is quite a popular one now, because with most modern TVs you just plug the USB in and away you go.
Is this all the same for you, Roland?
Pretty much, except for the online thing. I'm not doing that. I will be pretty sure, because it's just the way they're going on things like Netflix and Amazon Prime. That's how people are watching television and films these days. So you've just got to keep up with that. But I just haven't had the interest that maybe you have for it yet. USB just seems to be fine at the moment, but eventually it will all be that.
Even with USBs, you can build menus on USBs. And when you plug it into the TV, you've still got all the access.
And you can put this on anything, because it goes straight onto your iPad, your phone, and.
Does that apply to you guys as well? Is everything you have?
I'm in a mix. I still give USB now, and then I've got online download. Ultimately, for me, it's about moving towards online download. Because I'm finishing a wedding, I'm finishing the edit, and they're not getting it for 3 days. Or 2 days. If I finish it on a Friday, it goes in the post. I'm not getting it till Monday. Whereas online, they can have it immediately.
I've moved to download only now. The theory that even USB's got a shelf life.
Yeah.
You know,
Apple don't want them.
Apple are taking iPads don't have USB drives. Even the new MacBook Pros don't have USB drives anymore. And so it's all digital downloaded. So I have a dedicated app, and that's how they can access their photos. So they can the app on their phone, they can just pick and choose the photos they want. But more importantly, a USB cannot be passed around all the family and friends around the world, whereas a link and password can. So relatives from America and abroad.
Because weddings are all international now,
they can just share it, and they can. Anyone in the world, probably except North Korea, can probably download the pictures anytime they want. Yeah,
it's weird because I do a specific North Korea package.
He's massive in North Korea.
Massive in North Korea.
Kim Jong.
We just put ourselves on a watch list.
Again, doing things slightly differently. I kind of do everything. So they get a DVD, they get a disc, they get a USB, they get an online download.
What?
Yeah.
Taking stills from video.
Boo. What? Boo!
It's going to happen.
So every now and again, if photographer might mess up, Has
it ever happened?
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen quite a lot. Especially with
taking stills from video. That's
it's one of them things that, like, every now and again, a photographer might.
Really? Is that really a thing?
Just a different angle. It does happen quite a lot.
Wow. Yeah,
it's awkward now, isn't it? It's a bit awkward. Yeah, but no, it does happen.
But equally, some photographers are doing video stuff as well at the same time, so there is a crossover time to happen.
I'm going to be hated.
The photographers
at the end of the broadcast, by the way, over the next coming days, our panel here is actually chucking it down now.
It's now snowing.
It's actually snowing.
We're in our shades before.
So, at the end of the broadcast, over the next couple of days, our panel here will be happy to answer some of the questions we may have missed on the broadcast. So, do feel free and have a watch the video again during the week. These guys will be on to answer the questions. Someone's asked, what is the app you use for the weather?
It's not missed it today, didn't it? It was Dark Skies. Dark Skies is the one I use. It's pretty good.
We need to. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much. We'd like to thank Mr. James Jebson.
Thank you.
James Stubbs.
Yes.
James Tracey.
Yes, James.
Roland Turner. And Stephen Redmondson.
Wow.
No, you can find the links on our Facebook page, which is Wedding Q's Live.
Benjamin Smith as well. Benjamin
players out.
Legend, players out.
So we're just going to hand over to Benjamin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to play us up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on May the 22nd. Thank you very much.
oh baby, oh baby. To you I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down, oh baby, oh baby. You give me just a taste of love to build my hopes upon. You know you got the power, girl, to keep me holding on. So now you got the best of me, come on, take the rest of me, oh baby. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby. Oh baby, you are everything, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby. You're the sweetest thing to me.
Yes, mate.
Amazing.
Nice one. Oh, it's cold, isn't it?